So you just purchased a new KillerDock fish cleaning station. We're gonna walk through each step with you to get this thing put up.
Well, today's an exciting day. It's install day for your KillerDock Slam. We appreciate your business. Let's get started. We're gonna show you all the pieces that came from Old Dominion. I'm sure you've already met your friendly driver, unloaded, got everything ready. So let's take a quick look and see what you're gonna need and the pieces that you received. Today, we're working on a 6.5 Slam. So the pieces that you're gonna have, you see the hoses here. If you ordered a drawer, you're gonna get a drawer box. That's what the hoses are sitting on top of. We also have your light kit. So your LED light is gonna be in this box. Your channels, we'll get to those later. Those are gonna be in your box as well. If you ordered a fish hanger, you see that there. Your airfoils for the upper section of the canopy will be in a box just like this. And of course, your tabletop. Here you have your booms and your uprights. So we'll show you how to assemble everything here in just a few minutes, not to mention the hardware box. You'll get a box full of all of the hardware that you will need for today's assembly, along with a couple of tools. So we'll pop that open and show you what's in there.
All right, so once you unload your hardware box, you're gonna have these contents that come out of it. You're gonna have your flags and through bolts, your airfoil hardware, channel hardware. Got some replacements just in case they fall through the cracks. You're also gonna have your 3/8 bolts for attaching your booms and uprights, and then your light kit hardware in this bag. Finally, your string for connecting your canopy to the back airfoil. What you'll need for this install: the 3/16 drill bit, 7/16 socket, either on an impact or a ratchet. You'll need a 9/16, 7/16. We suggest these ratchets and wrenches here. Allen wrench, which is provided in the hardware bag, and then even a T25 star bit.
Okay, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do when you're making your purchase is be sure that the station that you're selecting is going to fit in the spot that you want it to go in. We have lots of really good spec sheets that we can provide, and it never hurts to measure twice. So before you get started on the install, just pull that tape and make sure it's going to go. This looks spot on, so we're good to go. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is assemble your upper section, which is your canopy. It's your two booms, your airfoil pack, and the canvas. You'll also have your string. You'll want to keep that handy. So the way that we're going to start is we're going to lay the booms out close to the spansion of the size station that you selected, and then we're going to grab the airfoils and bolt them to the sides. When you're handling them, if you have concrete, just make sure that you always take some extra steps to protect the aluminum and the coating. We put a great coating on here that's very hard to scratch, but it doesn't hurt to add a little insurance. So we're going to put some protective padding, which in this case is just some cardboard from the packaging that we provided, between the aluminum and the concrete. It's really not necessary on decking, but it doesn't hurt to do it as well. So the grommets in your canvas will always go to the water side or the back side of your fish cleaning station. In this case, you can see the seams on one side, really on both, but just kind of select which way you want the seams to face, whether it's up or down. These look about the same on this material, which in this case, a waterproof or weatherproof material was selected over our standard Sola mesh, which is an option. So if you would like for it to be completely rainproof, just call us up and let us know. So opposite of the grommets, the front of the station has a sleeved pocket. It's already going to come like this with the oval inserted and sleeved into this pocket. So that again will be the front, and then your grommets will go to the back. And we're just going to slide it in, roll the canopy towards the back. You'll need a partner on the other side to make sure that these booms don't fall over on you. Just kind of lay it in place, and then we're going to cut loose the rest of these airfoils and lay them in, and then we will loosely put the bolts in. You don't want to tighten them all the way in the beginning. You want to get all of them in loose, and then we'll come back and tighten everything. In your airfoil bag, you have button head /20s. You pull the nut off of the back, and there is a little pocket insert on the plastic piece of the airfoil that the nut will slide into. Everything else goes against the outside of the aluminum, just like so. We provide these nylon washers everywhere throughout the assembly. You always want the nylon washer between the stainless hardware piece and the aluminum portion of the station. When assembling your upper section, start with the front airfoil, which again is the one that is sleeved through the canvas. Get it loosely bolted, then select another airfoil of your choice and put it in the back, in the rear. After you get that one loosely connected, at your leisure, pick whichever one you want and fill in the rest. Just remember to keep all the bolts loose until every airfoil is in, then you can tighten them up. It will go just like this from the outside in, and the nut will go inside of this little pocket, just like this.
Yeah, once you get the front airfoil in its place, you're going to go and move to the back airfoil, or the one closest to the water, and go ahead and put that one in. That way you have a unit, you see the shape, kind of eyeball it, get it square. You know, you don't want a diamond, look for your square, your rectangle, before proceeding with the rest of the airfoils.
Okay, so now we have all the airfoils in, everything's loosely bolted together. Now's the time to go ahead and bear down on it and get them tight, but don't go crazy with them so that you don't strip the nut out on the pocket insert on the inside. Okay, so we have all of the airfoils good and tight. Now it's time to tie the canvas to the back. So you and a friend grab each corner, roll it over to the back. So you're going to start by going under the airfoil, select your grommet, come up from the bottom. You'll go over the airfoil, back through from underneath the same grommet, and then over to its neighbor, and then come down underneath and repeat that process until we get to the end. Then we'll show you how to tie it up.
Once you get to your end, either this end or that end, choose your end. You're going to finish the last grommet, going back up through it, like so. What we suggest is making a knot at the end, like that, and then going to the hole that's closest to the canvas from underneath, and securing this corner to the edge, like so. What we do, a few half hitches. After you get to that point, you'll pull the slack out of each string on the top between grommets to take the slack out and work your way to the opposite end.
And be sure not to pull it too terribly tight. You just want it really nice and snug. On the second knot that you're going to make, simply go over the airfoil and under, out of the top of the grommet, back underneath the closest hole, keeping everything tight with your free hand. And then we're going to come back through and make a lot of half hitches just to make sure this knot is good and secure. Okay, you got that. So now that our canvas is tied on securely, it's time to put the uprights onto the upper section. You'll have a bag labeled with 3/8 bolts, as you will see here, 2 metal washers, flat washers, a lock washer, and 2 nylons and a nut. You're going to take the nut off of the back, don't drop it, along with your lock, flat, and nylon washer. We also provide a little pack of anti-seize that you're going to want to put on the threads. It doesn't take much, just a little warning. It is a little messy, so try to keep it off of your fingers, but that's going to keep any corrosion away, but it's also going to keep this stainless material from locking up on each other. So when you are securing this, just be sure to go slow. Don't get overzealous and go too fast. The stainless does have a potential to gald up on you and make things difficult. So use the packet, go slow. So the easiest way to do this part, which is assembling your uprights to the upper section, is to have a friend, and it can really just be 2 of you, but one guy holding up the upper section, just like our buddy Tim is here, and then one of you leaning this upright over into place, aligning the 4 bolt holes so that you can put the hardware into the necessary hole. And you can see Jay here is about to put some of that never seize on the threads as soon as he gets it lined up through the hole. And again, we're just going to get them in, get the washers in place, get a nut on there loosely, do them all, and then tighten everything down from there. Once you have one bolt in, you really can take some of the strain off of yourself by letting it loose. And of course, the more you get in, the better.
Make sure when putting these bolts in there, you are ensuring that you're putting the nylon washer all the way against the aluminum on both sides. So it's going to be bolt, washer, nylon. And on this side, you'll have nut, lock washer, stainless washer, and nylon going against the aluminum.
So it's important to note that when you are grabbing your uprights for assembly to your canopy, they will be labeled left and right. In case you got rid of the plastic labeling and it's not on the bottom of the upright, just always know that this bracket here will go on the inside of the fish cleaning station. So under the canopy side is where this bracket will go. And if you have that in place, then you're good to go. All right, so we have all 4 in on this side and they're loose. Before we tighten them, just note that before you snug them securely, this upper section as well as this upright can be oriented or moved around just a little. You want to make sure that everything is in line before you tighten it down. So as you're torquing down these 3/8 bolts, just make sure that you don't bear down on it so hard that you begin to mushroom that nylon washer. Maybe a little half a turn past tight is really about all that you need. So as you're doing the install and sweating off all of the fun you had last night, you got to remember this is a good time to hit up all those friends that you helped move and owe you those favors. Cash those in. Yeah, all those guys that want to go fishing and have something to do as soon as you get back to the dock before it's time to clean up and clean fish and pay the fuel bill. Okay, so we've got our uprights assembled to the canopy. If you selected a fish hanger, now would be the best time to bolt it to your uprights. There are holes pre-drilled at the top that you can see up here. These are for your airfoil that has your hooks on it, which is your fish hanger. So you'll just want to slide it in place and then put the hardware that is in your hardware box into the airfoil just like you did when you were putting together that upper section.
That ain't going anywhere.
So the measurement that you're going to want to be certain of when ordering your station is from the outside of the base plate of the upright to the other outside base plate on the opposite upright. They do have obviously different sizes for different models, but that's the critical measurement at the dock level. All right, so we've got everything for our upper section assembled to the uprights. Now it's time to lift the whole assembly up in the place where it's going to live. As you can see, Tim's doing it right by himself. Really nothing to it. With a flat base, it will stay in place. If you have the 90-degree base, you're not going to want to let go after you stand it up. You're going to want to get a bolt or two in there on one side, and then you can take your hands off of it. Now, we're about to put our permanent hardware into the base plates. It's a great idea to find your stringer system. Every dock is built differently. In this case, our stringers are here and here, allowing us to align the bolt holes into 2 sets of stringers. If that was not the case, what I would suggest would be blocking with more wood between that set of stringers. For instance, if we could only hit the back stringer and our neck stringer was just outside of the base plate, you'd want to pull up some deck boards, cut some wood to fit, and bolt it down between those stringers so that you have plenty of strength for your base plates. All right, so we have found home. We're going to bolt this one down right here. We've got a drill with a 3/16 bit, an impact wrench with a 9/16 socket, and our selected lag bolts here. Jay's going to show you what this looks like. Again, you don't want to go too hard in there to mushroom out that nylon washer. It kind of defeats the purpose, gets that material out of the way, and that allows those dissimilar metals to touch. So just get it down until you feel like it's good and tight without smashing that nylon. So now we have one upright secured, and we're going to keep that way for now. We'll secure the other upright in a moment. The next step would be to take your channels, and again, these are marked right and left, and place them on top of the angle, aligning the bolt holes. Then we're going to use the appropriate hardware, which is marked in your bag, channel hardware, more button heads. So we've got 2 bolt holes up top and 2 on the front. We'll put these channels on, then we'll put the table in place, and at that point we'll secure the other upright. Okay, so now we have all 4 bolts in and they are loose. Before we tighten them, we want to lift up on the channel. You can see that it moves just a little, and from that point then we want to use our 7/16 wrench and our Allen wrench and tighten up the 2 bolts up top, and then tighten the 2 in the front. That just helps level out this channel. Okay, so we've got our channels on. It's time to put the tabletop up in place on top of the channels. But before we do, if you selected an accessory like a sink or a drawer, now's the time to bolt them to the bottom of the table. In this case, we have a drawer, so we're going to pull out the starboard insert by pulling it out till it hits bottom, and then lift up and pull it out. This opening is the front, obviously, of the drawer, and our logo is on the back. Make sure that this faces the rear or the water side of the station in most cases. And then we're going to use these 3 bolts on each side for a total of 6 to bolt it to the bottom of the table. We've got these temporary nylon wing nuts that we're going to take off and discard and replace with permanent stainless hardware. Then we will put the frame up, bolt it down, put the tabletop on the channels, and we'll be almost home. Okay, so we have our drawer frame on. Before we put the tabletop in place, we have 2 more temporary nylon wing nuts that we're going to remove. These bolts will marry to the channels that we installed previously. So once we get these off, we'll put the tabletop in place, put permanent hardware on, and we're one step closer to being done and ready to clean some fish. So as we lift it into place, you and a friend, and you get your holes aligned, be sure to put a bolt through the table and into the channel on the upright that's already bolted down and stationary. And then you'll slide a bolt into the other side. There. Keeping that other upright loose allows you to make sure that you can align the holes, and also make sure that you have the proper separation for squaring each upright into place. Now we can bolt down both sides. So as you're tightening these bolts that go to the channel, the proper level of tightness will make sure when you do that, it will pull these bolt heads down flush like these with the starboard. So if it has any resistance there and you can feel the bolt head sticking up, just give it another half turn or turn until it's flush. So our table is now firmly secured to the channels. We're going to now secure down the opposite upright, which we have left bolts out of. And once we do that, will firmly secure all bolts in both uprights. As you're bolting down, you'll notice that we have plenty of holes to use for these lags. You do not need a bolt in every single hole. We put extra holes there to help you be able to find somewhere to marry up to the stringers. So you may have extra holes that do not get a bolt. That's perfectly okay. I would suggest putting a minimum of 4, a preference of 5 or 6 per upright. So now we can take our drawer insert and slide it into the frame that we bolted in earlier. From here, we're going to take our accessory trays. They are labeled, as that one you can see is labeled right. This one will be left. The hardware will already be in the tray itself, so you'll just take the provided Allen wrench and back out the bolts, and then use them when you bolt it to the side. The holes are pre-drilled. Just takes a couple seconds to pop them out. And back in. So each accessory tray comes with a cup holder, knife sharpener, hose holder, and a knife holder. Once that tray is assembled or installed, then you can take the protective cap off of your provided brass hose bib. One thing to note, on the back of this bib is a shark bite push to fit 3/4 fitting. So you could just bring your pecs right up to the back of the station and you'll have water ready to go. So these hoses have a rubber grommet in them to protect or keep them from leaking, so you really don't need any pipe tape. And then your nozzles will have been in your hardware box as well. And the way that these hoses go into the accessory tray is pointy end of the nozzle right into the hole. You can also use your hose holder. It'll double up as a wine glass holder. All right, so the very last step is we're going to install our light kit. You will have 2 clips with the metal pieces on the bottom and the starboard pieces at the top. Be sure that the taller end of the starboard piece goes to the front side of the station. And all you will do, as Tim is going to show you, is clip the metal piece onto the back of the light into these little channels. Once that's complete, you'll lift the light and snap that starboard bracket right onto the airfoil. The airfoil that it goes on is the 3rd airfoil from the back of the station. So starting with the piece in the back where the string is wrapped around the airfoil, count 1, 2, 3, the light clips onto there. If you have the fish hanger, from here you're going to go up and over the fish hanger with your whip. And your light kit comes complete with a switch, GFCI outlet, and a junction box for bringing in your power. So you'll want to have your light kit hardware bag handy. You're going to want to throw one of these clips at the cameraman and then grab it and snap it onto the conduit just like that. And then that is an extra support for the conduit to snap right onto that airfoil. There's actually 2 of them. And then once you have that up, you can slide the light into place and get it centered at a later point. For the hardware in your light kit bag, you will need a Phillips head screwdriver. We failed to mention that in the beginning, but all of these bolts have a Phillips head on them. So each of your gang boxes here has 4 holes, and it's all pre-drilled onto your upright as well. So each one of these bolts has only 1 nylon. You're going to want to keep that on the bolt and push the bolt head in from the outside, as Tim's going to do, and then through to the inside of the station, and then carefully put that little bolt on there. Try not to drop it into the water. Got it. Now we only have to do that 3 more times. This is all a outdoor watertight gang box. And then at the bottom, if you'll follow the pigtail down, we will in a second, we'll bolt up this junction box for bringing power to the light. This little plastic alligator style clip will go around your conduit. There's a pre-drilled hole at the top, so it'll hold that conduit tight and keep it from flopping around on you. Out here at the junction box, it's the same principle. You just want to bring your bolts from the outside in. It's a little tighter of a fit in here, so just be really careful to hang on. We do provide you one mulligan. You get one extra set of bolts, washers, and nut, but these back sides are a little tight.
These three guys showed up at my house, and let me tell you something. I was really intimidated because I didn't want to do it myself, so I called up the crew, and it was honestly a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And especially with this video, I hope that they made it very easy for you guys to follow along step by step. And I am super stoked, because if there's one thing I like more than catching fish, it's cleaning them and cooking them. And this is a great new addition to the family. I want to thank you guys so much, because it's honestly a dream come true to have this beautiful fillet station at our house.
Well, that's great, man. We're excited. Can't wait to see you get some use out of it. Me and Jay and Tim, we're honored to be here, help you put it up. We'll see this thing getting slimy and bloody.
Yep, we're good at that.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Thanks.
All right, guys, so you just saw us put this thing together and saw just how easy that it is. If you do feel like you still need some help, give us a call, go on the website, shoot us an email, just get in contact with us. We have plenty of people that are in our network that we can turn you on to help with installation. So just let us know. Don't let installation be a hurdle for you. There's nothing to it.